Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 40 and the last one of our second series of practice. This key 40 is entitled Trance, Altered Consciousness. So as usually almost, we're gonna define concretely what is this concept, this topic. Secondly, what's the scope, the reason for being, and the field of application. And third, we will see 8 different techniques for which I will not split up, I will not separate techniques and after tips. I will do all together, that's to say, one technique, the tips, and so on. Okay, some advice. All right, so let's start with a kind of definition of the concept to make sure that we are on the same page. So what is trance? What is altered consciousness? Basically, concretely, this is the same principle that, we have different, in our brain, we have different frequencies of the brain, okay, some waves. It's exactly the same principle than a radio. You have FM, free wave, MW, mid waves, and low waves. FM, maybe you will, according to the tuner, you will catch some music. MW, you will catch maybe the news, and LW, maybe you will have a football match, okay? So you catch different frequencies according to this tuner. It's the same principle for our brain. In a normal state, when you are aware, like now, it is actually the beta waves, okay, corresponding to 4 to 7 hertz that we can measure like this, okay? Is a system of hertz, okay? Anyway, I'm not gonna depict all these different types of waves, but when you sleep, you have other waves. When you do meditation, you have other waves, and so on and so forth. Okay, so concretely, you don't catch the same thing. If, for example, I'm here, I catch different things in the environment. If I do meditation, maybe I will be more sensitive. If I'm sleeping, of course, I don't see any more this, but I will have an access to other information. That's the point. All right, so basically, concretely, what is this trance? What is this altered consciousness? Concretely, is the fact to go out of your routine, okay, or your daily life state of mind. It's a kind of to refresh your spirit, to refresh your mind, okay? Secondly, if we can afford, this is just to free up, to release yourself from your egotic, prison, limitative, from your mind and from the physics. Okay, what do I mean with that? Your ego, I mean your body is limited, okay? You're only here, okay? You just, and you are not everywhere, you're not prevalent. Same for your mind. Your mind is, for certain of you, always thinking, overthinking, according to certain of you. And also, you have a certain filter that you do have if, for example, you take alcohol, drugs, and so on, okay? So this is this, okay? To go to enlarge your perspective of your consciousness regarding your body, the fact that you don't feel things only from here, but further, and also your mind, your consciousness, your state of mind, your spirit, you can enlarge the perspective, is the same, and to see other things, to discover other things. That's the point. And third, this is concretely an existential need. It is a vital need. This is like, the prisoner, okay, needs to go for a walk, a stroll in the prison. Otherwise, if a prisoner stays too long, a few years in the same cell, in the same room, in the same place, he gets nuts, he gets crazy, he becomes sick. Okay, why? Because you cannot you need to think out of the box, and you need to walk around a little bit. And even this is a right, a human right for prisoners everywhere in the world, normally, let's say. And this is exactly the same principle. So the fact to go out of this normal state of consciousness, to have altered consciousness, is healthy, is natural. That's why we can find many ways in many different cultures. Why? What's the reason for being? What's the scope and what's the field of application of this quests of trance of altering consciousness? Very easy. First is to be more in harmony, okay? It's like taking holidays, okay? You know, if you are a work alcoholic, you just hardworking, and then you don't take a rest. Okay, you have risk to have a burnout, not to be really creative anymore. If you are always in it, sometimes the fact to step backwards allows you to have more perspective and to refresh your mind and so on. So when you go on holidays, most of the time you come back with fresh ideas and so on, and like sleeping or doing, I don't know, an activity like leisure and so on. It's the same principle. So it allows that. Secondly, it allows you to be more anchored, to be more grounded in this life, actually. It's because it's absolutely not to flee, to run away. We will see that it's absolutely not. It's completely the contrary. Okay. Third, it's an excellent palliative for drugs addiction in general. Fourth, it brings you a kind of serenity, a kind of peace. Okay, regarding many topics like space-time, like death, and so on. When you have a out of body experience, astral travel, I can swear to you that honestly, you don't perceive life as before. Okay, you have an access depending on the degree and so on, because then there is different layers, and spheres and realms. But let's say that you can see, experience space-time consciousness and so on, and you don't see any more life as before, to be frank with you. So you can be more peaceful and serene in general for life. And last is a kind of inner travel, allowing you to discover many things within you, okay? Within you, to reach the unity, Y-O-U-N-I-T, okay, quote mark. And it's referring to the Delphi Greek philosophy, know thyself and you will know the secret of God and the universe. Is the same principle that we can find in all philosophies, in all esoteric currents throughout the world. Okay, so this is to discover new perspective of the self, okay, and the consciousness, your higher self, and so on. You saw the alveolus of the cosmic breath that we call the living God, the source, whatever, okay? Very important three pillars, important things. First, I insist, I said before, I re-insist, this quest is not to run away, is not to flee. It's not because you don't like your life, that's to say you don't like your job, you don't like your family, you don't like your friends, you hate life, okay, the society and so on. No, it's not this at all, okay? If so, this, referring to all the keys we saw, we need to clean up, okay? It's a part, the cleansing is a part of the inner journey, is a part of spiritual and in general opening and awakening, globally speaking, okay? So it's not, I insist very much, is it not, okay? It's not this, okay? Life is here, okay? So Epicurism, Epicure, the great Greek philosopher, most of people think to be Epicurean means to enjoy fresh, to enjoy food, to enjoy nature. This is true. It's one part of the game. And also spirituality is a good balance. Actually, it's just the Western way to talk about a middle path that we have in Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and so forth, and so on, so far. Okay, very important. that's why second pillar it's to anchor and to this is like grounding, okay? So it's you grounding outlets, so allowing you to explore and to enlarge your perspective, to enlarge your consciousness, okay? And third, this is a springboard to a better life with a kind of wellness, okay, fulfillment. All right. Here are 8 different techniques, okay, or schools, let's say. The first one is the out of body experience of astral travel. There is a slight difference between both. We can consider out of body experience is just in Kodamari the fact that your astral body. So we have different subtle bodies, okay, like different. Layers, like the onions, you have different layers, so within we have different ones. Okay, one of them, there is not only 2, there is ethereal and so on, there is different to the causal body and so on. So there are subtle bodies, physical, ethereal, then astral and so on, okay, causal. But astral is very similar to the body of dreams. Okay, it's your envelope that you take for is an energy that you take for dreams and so on. Okay, so this is the principle. Okay, so out of body is just the fact to be a little bit out. Okay, it can be just floating in the room and going to the neighborhood and so on. That's it. Astral travel is slightly different because you go largely further. You can go in the cosmos, in the galaxies and so on, but you can also go to other spheres and let's say dimensions like 5D, like 6D, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's not visual for us with eyes. It's not even in the cosmos. Okay, it's 2 different vibration degrees of vibration. Okay, it doesn't mean it's very far away. It can be here, but with other, like here, you don't just see the 7 in between 400 hertz and 800 hertz, and you cannot see the ultraviolets here, ultraviolets, and the red infrared is the same. Animals can, some of them. Okay, it's the same principle. Okay, so let's try to combine astral travel, and out of body experience combining. Okay, no distinction. There is 3 approaches. Okay, the first one is through lucid dreams. Second one is direct method, and the third one is indirect method. I will especially talk about the third one, indirect method. Okay, the first one is through lucid dreams. It means that you're lucid, you're aware that you dream within the dream. Okay, which is more complex, requiring a certain experience already. That's why I will not talk so much about that. The second one is once you have a certain experience as well. It's just that, for example, now I didn't sleep before, and I start the astral travel. It's more complex. Okay, to be frank with you. So the third one is easier. Is the indirect method, which is the fact concretely to be completely exhausted, first option. Second option, to wake up during the night, 3, 4 o'clock. And then, or third option is to just, when you freshly wake up, early morning at 6, 7 o'clock when you wake up, okay? You're still in between, 2 words, is this, okay? So, because you are relaxed, because you are a certain in-between word, not completely, your mind is not completely sharp, is not really in the beta waves, is in between, you can work more easily, okay? So, there is 15 different techniques I propose to you. There is hundreds of them, okay? It's not exhaustive, it's just summarized. It's just for you eventually to be interested. If so, you can develop. There is many institutes, Monroe Institutes in Virginia, in the United States. There is plenty of books, tuto, and it could be a book, several books, could be a library, it could be sessions of weeks and weeks. Okay, so it's just synthesis, okay? But these are one of them that I consider the most, let's say, I mean, easier and the most workable. The first one is to, okay, so let's consider that you are on, so I told you, either you try when you are very exhausted, okay, very tired, and in that case, you know that you can sleep almost in 1 minute, this, or second, you wake up during the night, that's to say, you put your alarm clock, or second option, this what I recommend you, you drink 2-3 glass of water like this. Naturally, you will have the wake-up call during the night, naturally, to go to pee, okay, to go to toilets. I invite you to drink a few glasses of water, enough to wake up for that, do some tests. And you don't finish the last one, and you just put the glass nearby your bed. Like this, when you wake up, it's Pavlovian, you know, the memory of your subconscious. By giving an attention before sleeping, saying, okay, I will wake up around 3-4 o'clock, and when I see the glass, I will activate the fact to do astral travel after having been to toilets. Okay, that's the principle. Okay, so you go to toilets, you come back. It's very important to wake up physically, to stand up, and to come back in your bed. You normally still are very relaxed, and you're completely aware to start the different techniques we're going to see now. And third option is to do exactly that when you wake up in the morning, if you need to. So if you go to bed at 11 o'clock and then you wake up at 3-4 o'clock, for me is the best hours to do it. Why? Because this is the deeper sleep, okay? And then the option is when you wake up. It can be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, up to you. But usually we are in between 2 hours. But for me, the best one, honestly, but try all of them, is the one within the night, okay? When you wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock. Can be 5, whatever, okay? So here are the different 15 techniques. So you're completely lay down on your bed, okay? Relax and so on, okay? And then you just visualize, I'm saying, you activate your senses to roll from one side and or from the other side. And the goal is to separate your physical body with your astral body. So you have the feeling that you move and you roll up. You don't do, of course, physically, you stay, you remain like this, okay? But the fact to do allows you sometimes to detach yourself, okay? So this is one technique. The second one is to levitate, okay? To rise, to imagine that you rise, a little bit like Peter Pan, okay? You rise and you just observe. You have the feeling to be like, you know, really like a fluid, and you are just upper your physical body. Second technique. Third technique is to do some movements in generals, okay? So it can be paddling, okay, like this. It can be swimming. It could be biking with your legs. If you used to play football, soccer, it can be like kicking, whatever. You just feel that you do that, and with a maximum of sensation and details, it can activate as well. Then you can also visualize that you clap, okay, like this, and you feel it, okay? You don't do, once again, you just do, or you just do like this, and you have the feeling really to touch with your epiderm and so on, okay? And the sound as well, you can figure out there is the sound as well to have more details. Then there is the notion of scale, okay? So you just imagine that you rise with a ladder, a scale, a ladder, infinite one, and you go up, okay? This is another technique. Another technique, which is very common and known, this is the rope. Okay, so concretely, you have the feeling that you goes and you go further than your body. Okay, so then 1 meter, 2 meters, 10 meters, and so on. Okay, the goal is to extract. This one is working very well normally. Then there is the techniques of the stairs or steps. Okay, so it can be whatever you visualize. It can be, you know, like spiral. It can be normal one, standard one. It can be going down, going up to you. This is completely up to you. Okay, then you imagine can be a hammock, can be a swing. Is more a swing normally, and you imagine this feeling to be you know, like balance, okay, like swinging, just basically. And the goal, and also because there is an impact like hypnosis, okay. Touch an object, a product that you use to touch. Can be, I don't know, if you used to touch, I don't know, a bracelet or a collar, something that you have, or maybe your beer, if you, or I don't know, your nose, or just to touch something you used to have. Can be your mobile phone, can be anything, okay? This is another technique. Then you can have the feeling that your stomach with the breathing is like a pumping, you know, like a balloon, okay? Inhale, exhale, and you are like, you know, a very big balloon, okay, like this. You can visualize like this. It allows to have an expansion, for instance, okay? So another way is the projection on a location, okay? So a location that you know, it can be your office, it can be, I don't know, your parents' house and so on, with a maximum of details. To facilitate, you can also visualize yourself to project in front of the mirror. This is with a maximum of details. This is something we used to do most of the time with the details and so on. And then you project to this location. Another one is to visualize yourself floating in the room, okay, like Peter Pan, okay? So you do just, you visit the neighborhood, your house, the neighborhood that you used to know properly. Another technique is the feeling of flying, literally, okay? A good way, a good tool I give you is to watch, you know, some documentaries for which you have, you know, aerial vision, okay, from an helicopter, a plane, or a drone, and so on, and you see landscape like this, okay, mountains and so on. You watch them like 1 hour a day before sleeping during 1 week. This works super well. This is an excellent technique, according to me and my experience. Another one is more down to earth. It's just to agitate, you know, your eyes. I open a little bit for you to see, but it's concretely it's activating like REM, rapid eye movements, which stimulate the fact to enter in your sleep. Okay, so concretely, you do like this. So it's exactly like this. So you can do from one side to another or up and down, up to you. Then the last one is to visualize with your eyes closed. Of course, I just opened just to show you, but to gaze your third eye, okay, here, okay, like this, okay, so but you close, of course, okay, and you do, at the beginning you can have a headache, it's possible, but it's kind of stretching gymnastics. Well, some tips. I invite you to, there is the book Recreation, for which you have the whole framework, your whole structure of hypnosis, self-hypnosis, parameter, reparameter, for which you only have to change some sentences, few sentences, which are what we call induction. It's the main important sentence you want to, for which you want to work on. So to say, self-confidence, and so on. So you can just do some self-conditioning with just doing that, saying, okay, tonight I'm going to do an amazing astral travel, and so on. Like this, you penetrate your subconscious. Your subconscious soak, infuse this will, and it will be easier for you. Okay, but another techniques within is the preparation is the fact to visualize. I mean, to compress each members, each your hands, your hands, your fist, your arms, your legs, everything hardly, and then you relax. Okay, you do for each one, and then globally, and then and this allows you really to feel really heavy, and the more you feel heavy, the easier it is to go out and to separate from your astral body and your physical body. That's one a very good tip. The motivation is very important, to be motivated and also to be convinced that you will succeed. There is a difference in between stubbornness and motivation, but try to be convinced. This is just a question of time. It will occur. It will happen whenever it's the proper time. Okay, but you are convinced it will work. Okay, and you have a good reason also for that. You can write a good reason. It can be just to experience more your deep self, your higher self, to be more connected with God or humanity, and so on, to meet back an ancestor, and so on, to make sure that everything is fine. All this kind of thing. But it's not ludic. It's not for fun. It's not a game. Okay, it's sacred. It's like a ritual, and it has to be done in that way. This is important. The regularity is very important to do several times. Okay, so you do during the night. You not only do once. You try it. As long as you can do for half an hour. You do one technique, a second technique, a third technique, and so on. You can try it. Maybe not the 15 one, but at least 5, 6, 7 ones. Okay, very important. And also you do regularly. It means also day by day or night by night. Okay, you do for over 1 month. Okay, the regularity is like stretching. Okay, it allows you to be more performant, and it will happen. Okay, also to have a certain state of mind during the day. You repeat yourself like auto-conditioning. Great, tonight I'm gonna do astral travel. Tonight I'm gonna, and you repeat yourself like 100 of times a day. Like this, you let your consciousness and your unconsciousness penetrate by this concept. This is important. Another point, and the last one, is to be confident, not to be to be afraid and not to fear. Okay, there is no danger. Okay, there is the silver cord keeping you here. Don't worry, there is no accident except if you take drugs and psychedelic. Why not? Eventually, but naturally, you are safe. Okay, so be comfortable with that. Okay, you will come back systematically. You will wake up after a while. Okay, don't worry with that. Another technique is different from astral travel and out-of-body experience is hyperventilation. Okay, hyperventilation. I talk about that in the key 23. Okay, so I explain you one of the techniques. Okay, the exercise I invite you to do. Okay, and the exercise is 70 minutes. Okay, personally I practice every day. Okay, so it activate a little bit of TMT, so you feel like dizzy, and it's quite comfortable. You oxygenate your brain, your cells, and so on. It's good for health. And the second one I talk about is a little bit harder, but for that, be cautious. Talk about that with your doctors. I don't take any responsibility. It's really a kind of disclaiming, but definitely, okay, I don't want to take the responsibility. It can be dangerous for certain persons. Some people, some exception, can have some trouble. So I don't take the risk. I don't know you, so it's a little bit anonymous. So once again, the goal is that you be in harmony and healthy. So don't force yourself if you don't feel it, if you don't ask for a doctor previously, or you can also have an access to an association, a group of people doing that to be accompanied and so on and so forth. But anyway, the main hyperventilation, this is true for, this is shamanic breath work, this is holotropic breath work, rebirth, whatever the name is, Essenes breath work, Sufi breath work, pranayama breath work from Hindus, and so on. There is many ways, many ways to put a tag is slightly the same, okay? Two options, either with the mouth, which is more intensive, either with the nose exclusively, which is softer, okay? So I just show you, it's very simple, okay? Concretely, if I do with the mouth, it's like this. You hyperventilate, okay? Inhale a lot, exhale a lot, but you don't hold, there is no pause between inhaling and exhaling, okay? You can see it's continuous, okay? There is no break, no holding the breath. This is the key factor of success, okay? First option, or you can do as well is softer with just the nose. High amplification, okay? This is very important. This is the principle of hyperventilation. You oxygenate your brain, your cells, and so on. So you're gonna do that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's up to you. It's whenever you feel it, okay? The goal is to reach a certain threshold, okay, to be out of a certain, it's exactly the same principle with gravity. If you throw away a ball, it will come back, of course. But if you throw away very far away, out of the stratosphere, it will be in orbit, okay, like a satellite. It's the same principle. As long as you go very, enough, you will be like this. You will float, okay? You will be flotating and so on, okay? Otherwise, you will fall down. That's why some people hyperventilate, do exactly what I said for 5 minutes, and then they're just flotating. They are just flotating a few seconds. They realize it's not enough, so they do it again, okay, for 5 more minutes. It's also possible. I experience it, try it, adjust it, tune it. It's really up to anybody. Personally, I need 10, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is better. Some people need 20 minutes. Some people need even more to do it. Really to take off, literally. Okay, and you finish how this by holding with the inhale. Okay, inhaling. Okay, like this. And you hold. Okay, so you finish by inhaling and you hold your breath as much as you can. It's not, there is not a duration imposed. It's really up to you. It can be 1 minute. If you can afford 2 minutes, it's really up to you. Personally, I can even do till 5 minutes, but the goal is not a record of apnea. It's not this at all, okay? Very, very important. But once again, this really creates, okay? And then your trip can be 40 minutes, 1 hour, and so on, and then you explore part of your consciousness. It's a good way to reconnect with your higher self, to explore some realms, some sphere of consciousness, and to be more confident in the process of the living, life in general, God, whatever the name, and so on. So this is also a good way to cleanse, to clean. It's a kind of cleansing from self-memories and so on. That's why we recommend to have a pillow if you need to punch. It's possible that you need to shout and to, because you need to expel, okay, the bad energy. Once you have a certain habit, as I do every week, weekly. I don't need anymore that, but and it's just pleasure, okay? But it's possible when we do in our retreat center. It's like when you arrive, if you are not aware, you will see people crying, shouting, punching. It's quite scary at the beginning and scary. Well, just try to, but once again, I repeat myself, ask the feeling of your doctors first, because personally I don't take the responsibility. Third techniques is the drums percussion, okay? It's to repeat, okay? And by the way, just a remark, we put as an aside a special music to help you to be in a trance, okay? With binaural sounds, it means one sound here, one sound down, activating something, a third one here in the inside, the third eye. Also superposition of sound for in 3D for you to turn a little bit, and a lot of drums as well. So linked with the third techniques is to have a drum, okay? Whatever, it's question of rhythm. You do by your own, and normally it's activating something. When I was in my shamanic retreats, 12 days with a real shaman in Mongolia, she was doing that. She was doing purely with drums, okay? She reached a trance and out of body only with that. She was just taking a shooter of vodka. She was not drunk with that, of course. When you shoot, you're just a little bit stoned, but not more. Okay, so and he was doing. It was quite heavy. Quite heavy, quite loud, and also for almost half an hour, sometimes more, sometimes doesn't work as well. Okay, so it's important to do it quite regularly and a lot. Okay, you have to feel it. When I do it, because I do for shamanic drums and Sufi drums, and it works super well for me as well. I love it. Okay, and also the feeling of the skin, the skin, I mean, touch with the vibration with my body. I love it. It activates my chakras and so on. I love it, really. Another way is to quote some mantras or word, magic word, or and so on. It's repetitively. Okay, so you repeat, for example, a mantra can be Om. You can accompany with a movement. You know the Jewish, when they do this in Jerusalem and so on, okay, like this, because it's activate a kind of trance, okay? It's the same principle when the Sufi are doing that, repeating la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, and then they are kind of out of the body, okay? So you can quote whatever, it's registered in quote mark like Hum, Dirk from Sufi, it can be prayer, it can be Alleluia, whatever you use, which is good vibration for you. You can use your own word like harmony or love, 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 God, 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 whatever you want, but something high vibration. And you repeat ceaselessly like this. And after a while, you lose control. It's like there is a presence, a talking for you instead of you. And this is quite surprising at the beginning. But once again, you need to do it a minimum half an hour, even worse, even more. Sorry. Okay. Another technique, technique 5, is the ecstatic dance. So referring to the video and the key 37. Okay. So concretely, and to see the demo and so on, is to have intuitive, organic movement and so on, improvisation, and you just follow the rhythm, you connect yourself with the music, and you don't care, you don't pay attention to people and so on, you just, and you can see in the video that there is a moment, I'm like, it's not, I pretend, it's not, I'm possessed, it's just that there is a vibration. Which is, where is it, where it's come from, is Kundalini and so on, To be frank, sometimes I even don't know. Okay, so that's why it's so prevalent in all the culture. We need that. We really need it's it's existential, I told you. But really, I invite you to do ecstatic dance with really to play and to just to do whatever you want, to release yourself, just to this is so great. And after you are so tired, you just lay down on the floor and you feel, for example, the ground, and it's so good. You can do a meditation is like an orgasm almost, you know, and this is really important. It's vital. You can do also Sufi dance, Sufi reel, you know, okay, turning. It's only like this, okay. It's very simple. A clockwork or counter clockwork, depending what you want. Both options are possible. It's activate two different things, but let's say it's very simple. Be careful because you can be dizzy and also to have the vomit feeling. It's possible. So there is a technique then to poof, to jump back, okay, and then poof, it's reactivate the liquid inside, and it's avoid that you're dizzy after that. It's a good technique. But just to tell you, this allows you, yeah, to be out in other spheres, and is a kind of to be divinely drunk in a certain extent. They don't take alcohol when they do that, but they are like in altered consciousness. This is what we are looking for, of course. Floating. What is it? It can be do it yourself. You can do it yourself with just, you know, safety for those who don't know how to swim. You just put, you know, for the kids, just the things here like bracelets, and you put on your legs, and here just, you know, what you in plastic, you know, you pump, and this is things that you take for the plane. Okay, just that, it costs $10-15 maximum, can have online, and it's working very well. And then you let you in the water, in a swimming pool, for instance. Okay, so why it's so important? Floating normally is in a box with salty water, but this is quite expensive. But this one is very simple. You can also have some beautiful music and so on. And actually, when you relax and so on, after a while, you don't feel your body. You don't feel the, I mean, it's the weightlessness, okay, disappear in a certain extent. So if you're like this, you don't know if your hand is here or here like this. And it allows you to enlarge your consciousness. Definitely, it's an excellent tool. And last but not least is what we call Watsu. Watsu, water shiatsu. Concretely, this is a techniques you can have. Personally, my diploma officially, and this is some movements, organic movements, allowing you to reactivate, to regain the birth elements, childhood elements, sensation, feelings. It's very fluid, okay, and it's very good as well. It's full of metaphors to have trust with the person doing it, or to take care of someone, and so it can be a couple or not necessarily. It's not necessarily sensual. It can be, but if it's your partner, it's even better. But it can be, and it's so good when, you know, because your spine is also like a snake and so on, and you feel like it's a massage in the water in a certain extent, and it's so good. And you really reactivate some remembrance, memories of the members, literally, okay? So it's really incredible, and sometimes some people are getting out of the body and they go very far away. Okay, so it's an amazing technique as well that you can be taught with different centers, teachers, and so on, or you can maybe have some tuto in on the internet probably as well. All right, I invite you to try to test. There's different techniques as long as you feel them, as long as they vibrate within you, of course. This is only one key for you to shape the master key, to open up the door, the gateless gate of the consciousness that you want to reach eventually the unity, Y-O-U, unity. And as you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to home and to the dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.